this clamp, nice and tight. Remember, this is where the high voltage is getting to the tube, so we want that good and tight. And the thing that's often forgotten is the anode connector. Make sure you put it back. Initial turn on, leave the high voltage breaker off. We want these two on, blower and control.
You usually want the doors on too.
Yeah, all the interlocks have been bypassed right now. Initial turn on, APC, make sure it's off. Go ahead and disable the remote control. Before you start, this interlock light has to be on. If it's not on, most likely it's an interlock somewhere. The interlocks are at the door. You can simply bypass them by pulling it out. If you push it in, it's engaged, and the interlock light is not on. That interlock light has to be on. So make sure all your interlocks are bypassed. Okay, like I said, make sure the high voltage is off because you don't want the transmitter coming up with high voltage initial turn on. We just want to make sure things are working in order. So right here in the front, you can check your voltage. Another thing you're going to want to look at, you won't even get an interlock light. It will not come up at all unless the phases are in order, 1, 2, 3. This particular transmitter and lots of others have a phase monitor. This has been a place of failure before, so if you suspect a problem with a phase monitor, we have ones that work very well. That's an easy replacement. Right here you have phase 1, 2, and 3 and a simple relay running. This particular transmitter LED shows up when the phases are in order. You're going to set it to the appropriate voltage. This voltage in the lab is just a little bit above 215, so that's where I'm going to put it. You got a phases A, B, C, or 1, 2, 3, and a relay. It'll be common and normally open. The relay is going to run, complete the circuit that turns the voltage on for the control cabinet. So if this isn't working or your phases are out of order, the transmitter won't come up at all. So you want to look at here in the beginning. Make sure the breaker is on here for the screen and all the breakers here. Make sure they're all in. If you'd like, go ahead and just turn the exciter off if you're not sure if the exciter is going to mute. Just make sure everything is going to come up like the filament and the bias supply. So filament on. You should see the blower come on. When the blower comes on, that's going to allow the filament to come on. So the first place I like to look, right here, filament voltage, make sure it's on and an accurate voltage. We've had them come up and the voltage be way wrong, so you want to adjust that and make sure it's right according to the tube input manual standard. Next thing I look for is the bias. You definitely want bias supply there and on. If you're not, when you hit high voltage, the tube will take off. So the first thing you want to look for is make sure at least you have a bias supply and the filament voltage at the right voltage. See our exciter's on. It's good. It tells us power is getting over here. And before we make RF out, I like to, at this point, after the filament's warmed up, turn the high voltage breaker on with the exciter off. Just see if the exciter comes, or the high voltage comes up for the right voltage. So that's what we're going to do now. So again, with the exciter off, we can go ahead and make sure our APC is off. If it's on, it'll have a light on. I like to have the remote disabled. Go ahead and hit high voltage on. A high voltage should come up. Look at your meter. You're looking for this particular transmitter, 10,000 volts. So that's what you'll be looking for. I like to make sure my power is all the way down on the power control. At this point, we can go ahead and turn the exciter on. Alright, right away I like to look at the reflected power watts, where we show that we're a little low right now. I just want to see the reflected power. On this particular transmitter we have a normal section and a high section. You just want to keep it in the normal section. To tune the IPA, the input, the grid, we have an input tuning here. We're simply going to turn it. We can see that this transmitter is already tuned up. You're just going to tune for a dip. Let me see that. As the transmitter comes up in power, this is going to change. So, as you tune, come up slowly, and you're going to be adjusting your input and tuning your transmitter. So I see that we're a little low on our RF in. We're going to crank it up just a little bit, and that gets us right where we should be. Your adjuster exciter. This particular transmitter, you can see each IPA. So you look at that, and you want to make sure they match. Not one, they're identical for their output. Look at your screen voltage. So we're all the way down right now. And as we come up, because this is a 30, we'll see that voltage rise. So our grid is, we have high current on the grid because we're low right now. As we bring the transmitter up, we'll see that current come down. So we'll go ahead and raise power. I'm just going to bring it up to 10 or 1200 watts. Excuse me, 12,000 watts. So 10's a good starting point. And then right away I'm just looking at the forward power, and if you have an external watt meter inline section, you can look at that, and you're looking at the current. So I just start with loading, and I peak that, and you're going to dip the current. For as little current as possible, but as much RF as possible. When you see the forward power meter start to fall, then you know you're peaked out there. You go next to your output tuning. Tune back and forth for as much forward power and as little current. You can see we're peaked there. Alright, the APC on this particular transmitter, what you want to do is you'll be alternating between this pot right here labeled forward power. You'll be going up. If you want it to go up, you move the pot up. And then, alternating back and forth with the APC on, we're going to be holding down the button, and you'll see the RF start to move. You have to hold it down. It moves slowly. Raise, you hold down raise, it's going to move very slowly, but that's how you program the APC. Make sure APC is on when you're doing it, otherwise you're not programming it. You want to program for 100% power, so you alternate between this forward power pot and your APC. So you're going to be turning your APC off, moving your power to where you want it, turning APC on, and holding down, raise or lower. It's a little finicky to get it just right, but if you play with it back and forth between the two, you'll get your meter calibrated. You have to have an inline watt meter, inline section, to calibrate this correctly. All the overloads for the transmitter are on your controller card, one card for this particular transmitter in here. And you can see they're clearly labeled. You set your overloads accordingly. So you can use your manual and these pots to set whatever you want your overload to be. I think that about covers it. Just send me an email if you have any questions.